Hi, welcome to SemiWoke.
Welcome to the SemiWoke podcast.
That's right. I'm Sheria.
I'm Pranav. This is a podcast where Sheria, a queer woman of color.
Why you been calling me a queer woman of color? You were also not a woman of color, but
I don't know. I'm just trying to get all the Paul adjectives out there.
You do the adjectives, but you do like everything for me. She's like she's a black, queer woman of color and size with a neurodivergent
with 4C hair.
I'm just like a dude.
I'm just a regular guy. I'm just regular.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm normal.
That's right. That's like, it's giving that. It's giving that. You're always missing. You're like, I'm just a man.
I say I'm a cis straight male comedian.
Of color.
Of a older geriatric millennial.
You are a woman of a certain age.
Oh, just shut the fuck up. All right.
You are a woman of a certain age.
Look, now it's the time to be centering the voices of cis males, geriatric millennials of
especially
color.
during Pride.
Okay, this month, this moment specifically.
Yes.
Hey, this is a podcast where Sheria brainwashes me with one woke concept a week in order to turn me gay.
No. You can no longer.
There we go.
Just be gay. Now you have to be the back of Brent Corrigan's throat every time he's deep throating a dick. That's really
whoa. That's an intense one.
Shout out to Brent Corrigan. That's a blast from the past. You remember Brent Corrigan?
No, of course I don't.
You never got. I used to be into gay porn for a little bit in like high school and college. Me and Kat used to be into gay porn a lot, and Brent Corrigan was like the top star.
You and Kat are like the Thelma and Louise of autism. You know that?
Kind of are. We kind of are. That's very, very, very true. Very, very, very true. I love that. I love
you guys.
I love us too.
I don't know the cat is real. In fact, I'm quite certain she's a figment of your imagination that you have talked about so much you've manifested her into a reality that everybody now knows about. Because you'll just go out. We'll go out somewhere. You'll be at the bodega talking to the bodega, but you know, Cat loves Mike and Ike's. You know, Cat loves Mike and Ike. I'm like, get Cat a bag. They're like a hookup. Yes. Yeah.
I absolutely did manifest her, but I didn't do such a good job. That's why she's so small. That's why she's so
tiny.
small and weak.
She's missing 3 fingers.
She's missing 3 fingers. She's like an AI monstrosity created. People have met Kat. Occasionally she comes to my shows, but not for me.
I met Kat the first time I met you.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
You guys came in as fans.
That was
hello.
Great. That was a
great intro.
You should have seen us when we left. We were like, that was the perfect way to meet Pranav.
That was true because I roasted you guys for coming in late.
It was perfect.
And then Kat's ass came in with an Arizona iced tea
that she always brings.
She's walking around, a
restaurant.
Yeah, like a little Colombian Trayvon, with the Arizona iced tea. Sorry. We all know who I am and what I do here. Rest in power, truly.
Somebody beat George Zimmerman.
I think somebody did.
Again.
Yeah, he
do it again.
Need a routine.
Every day
it needs to be like a new Christmas where somebody lays a beat down on him.
That should be the new purge. Is beating his ass and like all the other ones who we can't get justice.
Yeah, I hundo agree with that. But that was when I met you and I roasted Kat for bringing an Arizona iced tea into a bar.
She didn't just bring it; she dropped it in the middle of your set.
That's right. And then I called. It's like, why do you even have that? I remember that.
It was fantastic.
That was great. That was truly a magical moment.
It was literally a magical moment. It was a perfect moment.
Like these 2 little weirdos who came into my show, and you guys were sitting like in a corner right at my bottom right.
Yes, we were.
And you were looking up at me like
we were so excited. You don't understand.
Like this.
We used to just like literally. That's why we call you our oppas. Is because we used to just sit around and watch 2 p.m. video or watch like K-pop videos, and then we started when we discovered Mango Bay. We just started like getting high and watching Mango Bay. We were like, which oppas should we watch today?
I love that.
It was a magical moment.
It truly was.
It was.
It really was a very special moment for me too.
Speaking of that, we should talk about this. We should talk about this a little bit.
What?
Just because me and Kat went to go see TXT recently. Tomorrow by Together. They're one of my favorite K-pop boys.
Okay, well, no, we don't need to talk about this.
We need to talk about this.
This does not need to happen, Sheria.
It was great.
Listener count is plummeting.
I sent you a picture too from it, and you were like, "Oh," I was like, "Oh, look where I am," and you were like, "Where? A NAMBLA convention?"
That's right.
You kind of got me with that one. You got me with that one.
You are an amoebophile, that is for sure.
Listen, it's not that. For me, it's like the closest I'll ever get to seeing like my child's talent show. Right? Like,
okay. Or other people's children's talent show.
No, because
can you imagine
other people's children?
Can you imagine that, having no relation to a child elementary school talent show? And just be like, yeah, I just heard about this. Thought I'd show up, check it out.
No, it's even worse. It's like, I'm a huge fan of fourth grader Kevin, and he is eating. Okay, he's playing the cactus.
That fourth grader is going places, namely in Sheria's van. Okay,
I like screamed my head off. It was such a good time. Kang Taeyeon, you were the love of my life.
Okay, Sheria, we can't do a case spiral right now. Fine. That's a new term, by the way, case spiraling, which is what happens when Sheria even gets a whiff of an opportunity to discuss K-pop and then just spiral. Yes. He's into a tizzy.
It was a great day. Anyway, they ate, and I love them.
Did they eat? Or were they allowed to eat that day?
They're not allowed to eat. They are not allowed to eat. They are not allowed to eat. They were definitely suffering.
This is a SemiWoke podcast. It's the first gay straight collaboration since Ricky Lake and John Waters. That's a good one. I know that one. Ricky Lake straight? I know John Waters for sure. He's a cinematic legend.
Yeah, Ricky Lake is straight.
Okay.
Is Ricky Lake not straight?
I just figured you come into contact with John Waters, you immediately become gay.
I'm a little bit gay.
Yeah, you're like a little bit gay.
That is true.
That was the proto SemiWoke. Just interacting with John Waters. You know what I mean?
John Waters, because I love that.
Yeah. If you he's like a toaster in a bathtub. If you get into his proximity, you're becoming gay.
By the time we finish this podcast, you were gonna eat dog shit on.
I will become the new Divine.
He will become the new Divine. Rest in power and peace to Divine. We love her.
Yeah, I mean, she had to have died. That had to have been her death. Had to have been an offshoot of eating the dog shit.
Probably didn't
right.
Help.
That did not help.
Probably didn't help. No.
Things we do for art.
I know.
Or whatever.
Kill everybody.
Rest in power to them.
Murder.
Is John Waters still alive? He's alive.
Yeah, he's still alive. He's still alive.
Yeah.
Mustache still kicking.
Still kicking.
Yep.
Still kicking. Only thing straight about him is that mustache.
Only thing straight about him is that mustache. That is the gayest fucking mustache.
I mean, the line itself. Yeah, it's a very straight line.
That's actually very good. You're good.
I'm okay. I'm
funny. You're funny, dude. You're funny, dude. Men are usually not funny to me. But
I am the funniest straight man.
Let's relax.
Okay.
Let's relax.
Who are you defending? That's not me.
I'm kind of on a John Marco Ceresi kick right now.
Okay. Well, props to John Marco.
Props to John Marco. He's one of my favorite straight men. Although.
Okay. There it is.
I'm kidding. He doesn't watch this.
No, but he has jokes about that as well.
About how he's just like he's a fancy man.
Yeah, exactly. He's like in the closet straight. He's in the straight closet.
The first time I saw him do comedy live, I was in the front row, and he like revealed that he was straight in a attempted casual way, and I audibly gasped.
Yeah.
And he was like, okay. That's my plan for you. You have to become like a fruity straight man, but with thicker thighs.
Yeah, well, the old phrase, man plans, and I, in this case, laugh. Okay.
Man plans and you laugh.
Man plans, God laughs. Yes.
You were God. Okay.
That's true.
That's
true. And Ricky Lake, what happened to her?
She
of course had the talk show for a while.
No, but you know she does the business of being born. She was the one who made those, she makes like a documentary series, and then she does like a lot of fundraising to talk about
okay, so she fell
pregnancy.
Off, is what you're telling me.
No, she
fell
does,
off.
She's like a promoted for pregnancy health and of all kinds, because
she fell off. We're in America.
Had a few babies. She's doing all right.
Yeah, no, she's definitely doing all right.
Yeah, she's had several children.
All right, the lake dried up. Let's just put it that way. Right.
That's why you wanted to say that.
I didn't. I just thought of it now.
That's
but
why you wanted to say that. Okay, fine. It was worth it. It was worth it. Do you want to cancel something today?
Let's cancel Hannah Gadsby.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. We're canceling Hannah Gadsby.
We're canceling Hannah Gadsby. This has been a long time coming from my perspective.
Yeah.
Because she was never funny, but
God, we're not gonna do to Hannah Gadsby what you did to Clara several times. They. Okay. You said she. It's
Hannah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I was like, okay, my bad. They, yes, Hannah, they're they now.
I think they've been.
I don't know if they were they that back then. Like at Nanette, at the Nanette era.
I actually don't know.
Anyway, the regent of all of the archbishop of wokeness themselves. They really were.
I would never put a white queer as the archbishop of wokeness.
Okay, that's fair. I get that from your perspective. But when we're talking about mainstream media culture, right? Because you made a point earlier that if Hannah Gadsby had been Hakeem something, they never would have had an Netflix
if
special.
Hannah Gadsby were Hakeem Gadsden, they would have never had a fucking Netflix special, like that with that. Listen, and that's no shade to Hannah Gadsby. I actually really love Nanette, and I think that there is power in discussing these kinds of very serious issues and injecting comedy, but I just don't think.
And there's also a lot of power in being the bitch of the Sackler family, who has funded their show. It's called It's Pablo-matic.
It's Pablo-matic, which my issue with this. Okay, so if you don't know what It's Pablo-matic is it's a Brooklyn Museum, right? It's Brooklyn Museum. Brooklyn Museum. Fucking art thing.
It's a show.
It's an art show.
It's an exhibition.
It's not really. It's like an exhibition, but they put a bunch of like Picasso paintings, and then Hannah Gadsby wrote like Twitter captions.
And she wrote like little captions. They
wrote like really shitty dumb captions. It's like, okay,
well, they put the whole thing together. Yeah, exactly.
Weird
it was
flex, but okay.
That was the level. That was the level
like,
of
really.
it.
And then like put it side by side with, and then like basically kind of like wrote little things about how cubism is just fucking toxic masculinity.
They described it as a kaleidoscope of his dick.
A kaleidoscope of his dick. That's right. That's
very clever. Listen, my contention with Hannah Gadsby is that they always should have only ever been one essay in The Guardian. Okay, that's what Nanette was. It was like one really well-written Guardian essay, and that's all the clout they ever really needed to have.
Also, they're hot. Let's just be also like real about it.
Are they hot?
They're hot. They're hot.
Listen, they transitioned into somebody who looks like a board member of Purdue Pharma. Okay, that's what they look like.
They've always looked.
They got
like
the
that,
steely,
though.
Spiky hair, the rimmed glasses.
That's like 90% of the women I've dated.
Listen, they look like a Hugo Boss fashion model from 1930. If you know what I'm saying,
for sure. And they do not. I don't think they acknowledge their whiteness in the way that they talk about. Like, I think they very much center their whiteness, and there's also some problematic discussion of like some people are saying that they have some man-hating tendencies that often the slide from hating men to straight up turfism, it's like a pipeline, and yeah, that's like a whole
Wait, how so?
A lot of turfs are gender essentialists.
Oh, gotcha.
Right.
Yes, okay.
And so like even trans women are, if all men are bad, all men are evil, all men are predators, and trans women are just predators pretending to be women.
Yeah, but that's not them, right? They don't say that.
No, they don't say that, but people are concerned because that's always the first step. That's when they catch you. Honestly, turfs are a cult. We should have a whole episode about it, but that's how they catch you. That really is how they catch you. They are non-binary. They're trans non-binary, so I don't think they are.
Are they trans or just non-binary?
That's what non-binary means. Trans non-binary. You can't be cis non-binary.
I thought non-binary. Okay, here we go. Lesson here for me.
Fucking episode.
Hold on. No, well, we didn't talk about those specific.
Yeah, we mostly
individuation of terms.
Talked about how cute
right.
was.
Yeah. So for me, I always thought that non-binary was just you don't identify as your cisgender, right? And you're just non-binary. This is just my perception of it, and maybe this is where I need some clarification and edification.
Yeah, I'm just trying to understand what you're saying.
And I thought trans meant that you are actively transitioning from one to another. So yeah, I don't know.
No.
Right.
Okay, that makes sense. I see what you're saying. No. I see what you're saying. It's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, of course, trans people.
So the transition in this case is from cis to non-binary. That's what the trans would refer to.
Well, okay. So like cis literally just means not trans.
Okay.
Right? So that means that the gender you were assigned at birth is the gender that you present as, is the gender you identify as, right? It's all good with you. You understood the assignment, you've got it. Trans means that you just don't identify, present, or you don't identify with the a gender that you were assigned at birth.
Right.
So for some non-binary people, that means like they kind of view themselves as genderless. Some non-binary people view themselves as gender fluid. Some non-binary
I got some
people.
gender fluids of my own. Right? Let me tell you.
Oh God, that's like a woke Joe Rogan joke. That's like if Joe Rogan ever learned to read, he would make that joke.
Listen,
I know you've been radicalized by the MMA that you. So you love Joe Rogan.
I don't love Joe Rogan. I didn't say that.
Idiot.
That I wouldn't say that either. I'm very neutral. I'm very neutral about Joe Rogan.
Are you neutral about?
I'm pretty neutral about Joe Rogan.
We could have a whole episode about Joe Rogan.
For me, I don't listen. I'm not a regular listener of his podcast, but there are people who he has on that are very interesting for me to hear.
Sure, he has on interesting people.
Yeah.
But he himself is a fucking idiot. He's a fucking idiot.
Fair.
He's a fucking idiot. I know. Listen. I know that he's a lot of the like.
Listen, can we stay focused here on who the real fucking idiot is?
Whatever. He's
which is Hannah Gadsby.
Hannah Gadsby is a fucking idiot, but Joe Rogan is a bigger fucking
okay.
idiot.
Joe Rogan ain't taking Sackler money. Okay, he ain't taking that opioid money.
I'm sure he is taking.
But let's stay focused here.
Okay,
let's stay focused here. Okay, you're not gonna usurp. You're not gonna usurp. My cancellation.
Sorry, let me explain non-binary. So the binary is literally just like the sets of gender roles and gender norms that we've laid out in like our own capitalist society, right? Female, male, masculine, feminine. Those are the binaries, right? And so if you're non-binary, you either flow in between those, you identify as one or the other sometimes, and one the other, or you identify as some mix of that or something outside of that.
And straight folk, new math problem just dropped. Keep
that's
going.
right. That is a real math problem, and that's a whole thing. But the fear is so if you are non-binary, you are trans. You're trans non-binary because you were. The trans doesn't necessarily mean transition.
Okay.
It means just like transitioned.
Okay.
Right? Okay.
Hannah Gadsby.
So Hannah Gadsby took a bunch of Sackler
now
money
identifies as a whore for
the
opioids.
Sacklers. That's right. A whore for capitalism. They do not care about your dead cousins.
They don't care.
They don't care because they're trying to make that money. And at the end of the day, they are a white queer capitalist.
Yes. And what they did was such a low effort, low hanging fruit.
My God.
Bachelor's degree in art history, take down a Pablo Picasso. There's so many more intelligent ways of approaching that kind of critique, which they do not engage.
They could have featured all the work of female cubists, of the female artists that Picasso either abused or like blackballed. Yeah. That's out there. You could have done that. That was an opportunity to do that, but instead it's an opportunity for you to do a Twitter thread dunk on Picasso.
I know. You know what was so funny is so many different people are coming at her from so many different directions. One of my exes, who is like a writer, a brilliant woman,
and Elizabeth,
Miren, love you. But Miren hit me up in the DMs earlier, and she was like, "Did you see this?" She's like, "It's ridiculous." I was like, "Hannah Gadsby's always been embarrassing." She was like, "Yeah, sure." But now she's it was fine in comedy, but now she's taking it to art history. That was her.
Oh, that was her.
She's like, it's an affront to art history. I was like, bitch, this woman is taking Sackler money. That is the problem here.
That's the issue.
Art history's always been embarrassing.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right. Same with comedy.
Yeah.
I wasn't, as much as I love comedy, I wasn't so much. They're destroying.
Okay.
I know. I'm being brainwashed now. They're destroying the grand tradition of comedy. Set up punchline. I didn't care about that much. I don't necessarily think that it is a comedy special if most of it is just a screed, but I do think it was a necessary screed, and I do like the idea of putting more heart.
Necessary screed that would have been perfect for a TED Talk, 500-word essay in the Guardian, or
a TED Talk. It was very there was some element of performance that was interesting as well.
Twas not funny.
It was not funny.
Twas not funny.
It wasn't funny.
And look, with comedy, there's a very simple receipt. Is it funny? Is there laughter?
Is it not? Yeah. You can. I don't necessarily think that that's the only thing, but that's the primary thing.
It's the primary motive of why we do this.
Primary thing. It's comedy.
Okay.
But I don't care. I don't care. Shit on the stage. I don't give a fuck.
They're not German. Okay, they're Australian.
We're not at the box. I'm not like, oh, it's sacrilege to the grand tradition of power. I don't give a fuck. People jerking off in people's faces.
Right.
But I do think that they are a very good example of white privilege run amok.
To me, this is very much the symbol, though, of this is like the perfect culmination and actualization of woke consumer culture.
Boom.
100%,
Boom.
right?
Yeah.
And talking about gender issues and talking about toxicity of males,
But you're
all
not.
and all the while getting funded by the Sacklers.
Like, really,
you know?
yes.
That is the perfect
It's woke
culmination.
TM, because this is the appropriated wokeness.
Yes.
That they've you know what I mean.
100%. This is what it is. This is what it's all about. This is what all the human resources types and who are now finding jobs and money from like, you know, being woke, right? In like a professional way.
Being woke. Slapping a rainbow on fucking military grade weapons.
Yeah, getting paid $40,000 for a seminar about pronouns.
Yes.
You know what I mean? At like Raytheon or whatever.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And then they're like, "Yep, that's it. Thanks for the money."
And then the minute one or two fucking fascists goes, I don't like that, they immediately go, oh well, fuck them gays. We hate them niggas.
Right.
Like immediately. Look at Target. Look at fucking literally all the brands this June are like immediately taking off their rainbow stuff. Have you seen that?
No.
Have you not seen that?
No.
The MLB, the baseball people, they usually for June they're like, we're gay too. And then so they like first day of June they posted their new logo, which they usually use for throughout June, which is the MLB logo with the pride flag. And then some Nazis complained and they said, oh, fuck them. I don't know any homosexuals.
Wow, what a loss to the queer community. Major League Baseball isn't involved anymore.
I agree. Like all these like banks and all these people that like absolutely just exploit the queer community and then slap a rainbow on it, they're giving up isn't an indication of like, oh no, they no longer support the queer community. They never supported.
Guys, Buffalo Wild Wings isn't supportive of us anymore.
But it is an indication of the turning of the cultural tide. This is the backlash. This is the Reconstruction era of queer rights. Is like
it's a good analogy.
Yes, this is the backlash that is always going to impede progress, and it's happening, and we're watching it. Once the corporations go, they know that they're following the note of the rise of fascism. Let's just be real.
Well, are the corporations really relinquishing it? When you've got them funding things like Hannah Gadsby's, you know, whatever.
Yes.
It's like I think the DEI like queer pride stuff is still very firmly entrenched in corporate America.
But that shit isn't real. That was never.
I agree with that.
It was always a shallow thing.
100%
agree with that. They're not even doing the shallow shit anymore, which means that the tide is turning and it's gonna be harder to be gay, which is terrible because it's an indication of the rise of fascism. But it's good because I feel like the lines at the queer bars are gonna be a lot shorter. I think I'm gonna be able to get a drink, maybe. You know what I mean? A lot of these fucking like play bisexuals are gonna be out the running.
All the straight white women.
That's right.
Aren't gonna be showing up.
The straight white women that's been stealing all the stuff.
You know, a couple years ago during Pride, I was doing a joke that nobody liked where I'd get up on stage, we'll say Happy Pride to all these straight white women in the audience, and everody would get really angry, except for like a couple gay, black, queer people.
Yeah, that's only for us. I'm sorry, that's only for us. They do not like that.
Listen, I remember one year during Pride, I was walking through the subway in Union Square, and this very clearly cis straight white ladies, all rainbowed up, and she's like, if you're not carrying a flag, you're anti-gay. Swear to God. If you're not carrying the flag, you're anti-gay. Yeah, she's like, if you don't have a rainbow flag, you're anti-gay. I swear to God.
Okay. All right. Well, listen, I'm always down to fucking cancel the white gays. So
I know.
Done.
No.
Hannah Gadsby, canceled.
You're done, Hannah.
They're done. You're done, Hannah. Done. That's right.
You're fucking
now
done.
I'm getting the Netflix special. I don't even have a Netflix account. I don't even.
That's out of solidarity with the writer's strike.
It's out of solidarity with the writer's strike, but also after I worked for them, I was like, and that's enough.
Oh, yeah.
The NDA. Anyway, What's today's topic?
Today's topic, you tell me, I believe it's something called texturism.
It is indeed. It is texturism.
What's that?
So what is texturism? Texturism, okay, so texturism refers to hair texture, to a discrimination based on hair texture. A lot of people get mad about the term. They think it's like made up. It's all y'all just want to be oppressed. But it's specifically...
It's like anti-frizz conditioner.
Okay, so that's
right?
That's right. That's what people think it is, but it actually
for like Farrah Fawcett or whatever.
Right? No, it's particularly in reference to black hair, to Afro hair types. Okay. And so let's get into like the weeds of it before I forget the things that I barely researched. Again,
the weeds. That's also a texture. Sorry, go ahead.
Sit in the corner.
Okay. I'm already in the corner.
No, turn around.
I'm already in the straight corner. Okay.
Turn around and face the wall. Put your hands up the whole time.
So you had to do that too?
I know that.
I thought you have to hold your ears.
Oh yeah, that's another one. I never did
in good Indian punishment.
I did the one where I had to do that one. Yeah. So let's just get into the history of hair typing. So like it goes all the way back to the early 1900s. Like we're talking like 1908 with. Have you heard of what's the eugenicist's name? Eugen Fisher?
I'm not up on eugenicists. You'll be happy to know.
Okay, I'm surprised.
Wouldn't you be terrified? I was like, oh yes, Fisher.
I mean, I'm genuinely surprised. Whenever I look at your YouTube algorithm, I'm really like, there's a lot of eugenicists.
It's mostly fighting, but okay.
It's fighting and then a lot of right wing stuff.
Okay.
But Eugen Fisher was a German Nazi scientist, and in 1908 he instituted a hair typing chart, hair gauge it was called, but it was about color and texture, right? So they went to
this feels like a very gay endeavor. Can I just put that out there? Just judging people on their hair.
It's definitely a white gay thing. I really, if we go into the, I really think it might be. Let's talk about it. No. He definitely wasn't gay. He was definitely very homophobic. But he basically the point of it was to judge the whiteness or proximity to whiteness of people's hair, of both the black and mixed race people living in Namibia at the time. It wasn't Namibia. I forgot what it was called.
It was probably like John's basement or whatever they were calling it in colonial eras. And it was like one German dude would own like 1 million square miles of Africa or something.
I mean,
I'm talking like King Leopold style.
Okay, because we're still doing
yeah.
It's not like over.
Yeah, it's true.
No Africans own anything in Africa. Oh God, somebody's gonna be mad about that. I'm joking. So anyway, but so he was there were two different tribes, the Nama and the Herero tribes, and different textures of hair, right? And so he was judging their proximity to whiteness based on the texture and color of these people's hair and scoring it. And coincidentally, Namibia was the site of one of the worst genocides after the worst German genocides against the Narma and Herero tribes.
Okay.
Up to 3/4 of the population.
Jesus.
Were systematically murdered. And then Fisher went on to do the Nuremberg laws.
Okay, because right before you said Nuremberg laws, the way your tone was like, and then Fisher went on to, I was waiting, like, Dancing with the Stars.
That's right,
like
he went to Dancing with the Stars, and we all forgave him. We were like, oh, he's great. He did that cha-cha. Honestly, today that was look out for that. That's going to happen. So that was like in 1908, right? And then of course there's other things, but there's the South African the pencil test.
Okay, right. You told me about this on a previous episode when you had a 4C violation at your job.
That's right.
Yeah.
No, they didn't institute a pencil test, but that's basically what they did. The pencil test was, of course, South Africa came, colonized the Dutch. The Dutch? Right?
It was the Dutch.
The Dutch came and colonized South Africa. The what?
The Boers.
The Boers.
Yeah, the Boers.
The Boers. Yeah. Yes, they came and colonized South Africa, and they have the classification of the segregation. Basically, it's apartheid. So when they instituted apartheid, you'd have to be classified based on either you were white, you were colored, which means like you're biracial or mixed, and or black. Right. And in order to determine which classification you were, and obviously what kind of rights you would get.
Yeah, it was a very sophisticated racial matrix that they had because they also needed numbers on their side.
Yep.
So that was their way of favoring this. I do know somewhat about South African history is that people who were black basically were getting certain rights based on their proximity to whiteness.
Yes.
So, which is very interesting.
Yes, even though it was illegal for them to exist,
Right.
it was still they were still preferred
Yeah.
because of their
You
proximity.
shouldn't actually be here, but while you are,
Yes, that's right. While you
secret
are,
son of mine.
we love the
Yeah.
very that. Yes, very that. And that same thing was the hair typing also existed in American slavery, but mostly because those people were the products of rape.
Right. Now, what I do know about this, which isn't a ton, but I did read the autobiography of Malcolm X, and he used to talk a lot about hot combing.
Yes.
Which was a very painful procedure to straighten hair and to have what was called a conch.
I love how you're like, was.
Oh, yeah. It's fine. Yeah, I'm just talking about it in the context of that. I don't know that much about it. I'm the one who's in the learning.
It's mostly fallen out of favor, but yeah.
Yeah, and hot combing, and I believe this is something that he became vehemently against. Then
yes, but he
right?
used to be
a hot comber.
Yes.
Yeah.
Listen, I have also felt the heat of the hot comb against the back of my ear.
What does that feel like?
It's like being burned by an iron.
That's
it's
so
like being
insane.
branded by an iron.
That is
like,
so nuts.
Right in your 6-year-old head.
Oh my God.
Yes.
That's terrifying.
Yes. As I've been hot combed, I've been flat ironed, I've been relaxed. I did relaxer in my hair since I was 6 years old.
And hot comb, flat iron, these all sound like medieval torture.
It kind of is medieval torture. Like, we can really get into it about the things that people have done. Like, I mean, we all appreciate Madam C.J. Walker, but
yes, we do.
We do. You know Madam C.J. Walker? She was the first Black female millionaire.
Oh,
yes, and she made her millions off of the Madam C.J. Walker hair system.
Oh shit!
Which was basically like the early relaxers.
Oh,
yes, damn. Early relaxers. So, and she was the first Black millionaire, and all this other stuff. Her daughter later squandered. Her daughter, who was queer, later squandered her
fortune.
Her fortune
on what?
On bitches and booze.
I love it
because I love it.
Children of millionaires be the same,
right?
Wherever you go.
That's right.
You know,
I love that.
They are a sort of karmic retribution for capitalists in ways. Their own children.
I really do believe in that.
You know?
I really do believe in that. Look at Chet Hanks.
Yeah, they're like all unwitting collaborators with the working class.
Yes. See how weird fucking Donald Trump's son looks? I don't care. I'll make fun of a child. That is a weird looking, goofy looking child.
Yeah.
Weird looking.
Barron?
Barron Trump.
They all look a little.
They're all wrong.
Yeah.
But he looks wrong. He looks wrong. He was made wrong.
I used to think that Donald Trump's cum had some kind of poison. It was like the blood from the Alien movies, which just sizzled through shit. It just deformed people. Perfectly hot women that he was with, and then their kids come out looking real funky.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like ugly men have babies with beautiful women all the time, and those babies are normal looking.
It's true.
His kids are wrong.
And look, the thing about it is, what's bizarre about it, and he himself, in his prime, was not an unattractive man. Just physically, I'm just saying, put aside all the hatred of Donald Trump.
Let me look it up.
He was a fine-looking dude. You know, he wasn't let me put it this way. Hold on. He wasn't excruciatingly ugly.
Okay.
You know what I mean? That was the bizarre thing about him.
Let me look him up. Young Donald Trump.
Yeah, your search history is going to be all fucked up.
I know, right? Girl.
He was fine.
Girl.
Okay, you're right. That ain't the best.
This is an inbred.
That is great. His whole family looked like inbred.
This is the Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Yes, sure.
What? No, they're all weird looking. His mama ugly as shit, bro.
Okay, let's not get to it.
Okay, sorry. His mama is ugly.
I don't want to ruin your algorithm.
Okay,
either,
fuck, his mama's ugly. God damn. I know this is misogynistic to say, but nobody should fuck somebody who looks like that. That's not.
If ever there was a case for some kind of misogyny,
that's right. It's that don't fuck women that ugly. Come on now. Let's be real. Woof. Yeah. No, he wasn't cute. They're all ugly. They're all inbred and weird looking.
Getting back to
back to it. Madam C.J. Walker, early relaxer products, and now we know this is just the early relaxer products. I think they've gotten worse over time. Your girlfriend, my girlfriend as well.
Yes. Flowey.
She did research about the link between relaxers and cancer, fibroid,
that's right.
endocrine disruptions,
and reproductive health of Black women.
Of reproductive health of Black women that has like. I am also a victim of it. You know, one day we're gonna have an interview with my uterus.
Yeah,
with my dead uterus.
She is currently co-authoring a paper.
That's right. She is. Yes. And like that's definitely, it has to be from relaxers. I use relaxers most of my life.
Yeah.
I did not know what my own hair looked like until like I was 21.
Yeah. Well, your hair is beautiful, by the way. I loved it when you came out with the full fro, if I may call it that.
Yes.
I think it's beautiful. It is wonderful. I was very happy when I saw it. And I have a picture of you with this hair holding a goat. I'm like nature's child right here. That's your picture on my phone.
Oh, I love you.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a great day. Oh, shout out to the goats and to Megan Harvey
the Stallion.
The Stallion.
Okay.
Megan the Stallion, Harvey Milk, Megan Harvey the Stallion Milk, whatever her name is, the cow that I thank you for saying that. I love my fro. I do love my fro. But I think because of the system of white supremacy and the hair typing system, that a lot of women I also had a very hard time accepting my hair type. Extremely hard. The only reason why I stopped using perms was because I had like actual like burns and bald spots in my scalp. It had to get to such a bad level that I literally had huge chunks of hair missing. Before I was like, all right, I guess maybe I should stop with the perms.
It's like literal torture.
It is literal torture. It is literal torture.
That's so wild because, texturism, you give me a brief idea of what it was, but it's very interesting to think about it as like a very systematic racial stratification that's happening according to one very specific metric.
That's right. Because also, let's just be real. This is the thing, and I'm going to get shit for it, and I'm just going to say it anyway. The one distinguishing factor between Black people and anyone else is not your skin color, is not your features, it's the hair.
It's the hair.
It's the Afro textured hair.
Yeah.
And it is also the most maligned. It's like, to me, the fact that Black people cannot wear their hair as it exists, as it comes out of their head, is the greatest indication of anti-Blackness being global, right? Of either internalized anti-Blackness or our protective response to anti-Blackness.
Well, what happened in the culture? Because there was a moment in the 70s with revolutionary Black radicalism where Black is beautiful. That was the thing. And women, full fros.
The bigger the fro, the better.
Huge fros. Panoply, like a peacock. Yes. Gigantic, beautiful.
Mixed women used to make their hair kinkier.
Right. So what happened between then and now? Because it seems like now we've gone back into the relaxing era.
Yes. Oh my God. Thank you. So you're on top of it.
I mean, I just purely observational, right? Okay, so like I haven't studied it, but I'm just saying anecdotally observing it. I remember seeing that, right? And I remember watching shows like Good Times and stuff like that as a kid, and without getting too far into Good Times, but you have that kind of aesthetic, and you have that cultural moment with that, and now we go back and everybody's got straight hair now again, and straight hair is everything again. So I'm curious, like, what do you think happened?
So you can see the progression in the 60s and 70s from the acceptance of Blackness in all of its forms, radical acceptance of Blackness, to then the 80s with Reagan and with more conservative viewpoints and with capitalism kind of being like, that was the 80s. It was the 80s. It was a time of great opportunity for capital advancement, but also extreme degradation and oppression of poor people, of working class people, right? And so Black people needed to find a way in between that, and that entered the Jerry curl phase. The Jerry curl phase in the 80s,
the activator.
Yes, the activator. People drip it, just
drip the drip. Soul glow.
Let your soul glow. Yes,
so silky smooth, just let it shine. Oh yeah, just let your soul glow.
Okay, it's been a minute since I watched that movie.
Amazing.
And I rewatch it. It's a great movie, Coming to America. Have you seen that movie, Connor? Okay, good. He's Black enough. He can stay. The Jerry curl thing, which was it was sort of like clinging a little bit to the Afro texture, but really encouraging people to have a looser curl pattern, which of course is an indication of proximity to whiteness. Argue with your mama. So then that was happening. And then of course it led more because let's be real, Black people needed to enter corporate spaces.
Right.
And there were literally laws. There were like there were no laws against discrimination against a texture. You were told you cannot wear your hair like that and work in an office. You cannot wear your hair like that and work in any way front facing with the public because it might indicate that you are politically radical. You know what I mean? And that persists to this day.
It's very interesting because there's a standardization of whiteness there, right? Which is like, you could be Black, just try to be white.
That's right.
Just give it a shot.
That's right.
Just your hair.
That's right. And okay, all right, we're gonna get spicy.
Okay.
We're gonna get fucking spicy.
Okay, let's go.
Because I want to first acknowledge this. A, Black women can do whatever the fuck they want with their hair, and B, there are issues of desirability, of beliefs in professionalism, of just having to survive white supremacy that forces Black women to make very difficult choices about their appearances, and it's not your place to judge Black women, and I am not trying to judge Black women who don't do this with their hair. I also have to acknowledge the fact that I am natural, but there is a degree of privilege almost for me to allow myself to be natural. I don't date men, right? And so I don't have to adhere to the same standards of desirability that women who date men do. I just don't. And that's a huge privilege for me in a way, right? B, I work from home in a fucking, like a corporate office that's very chill about how my hair looks, right? Yeah. So I don't have to adhere to those standards of professionalism, right? And B, I don't give a fuck what white people think. So I wear my hair however the fuck I want. But a lot of people, for their own safety, they cannot live that way.
Right.
They have to present a certain way. But the rise of wigs, of weaves, of relaxers, and we had a quick little natural hair movement of which I was a part. And it's so funny, the reason why I went natural, the reason why I finally made that decision was I was thinking about it. And I read some story about a woman who had permed her hair her whole life, did the big chop, and then her hair grew and it was just soft, curly, biracial tendrils. And I, dead ass, was like, maybe that will happen to me. And that didn't.
Okay. Why did you think that would happen to you?
I don't know. I'd never seen really my hair.
Yeah.
I thought, you never know, right? Maybe. So I did I didn't even do a full big chop. I just kind of had to cut out pieces of my hair. God. And then I wore a lace front, very itchy lace front. And when I took it off, I was like, I'm going to have beautiful, curly, Cree Summer, Rachel True, all the Black girls who were actually mixed that I saw. You know what I mean? That wasn't the case. It was Negro hair. I'm Black. Turns out I'm Black.
Turns out you're Black.
Turns out I'm Black.
She's Black.
Crazy.
Everybody.
Who knew? and I was like, nope. Let's do a neutralizer. Yeah. Which is basically a Jerry curl. It's like a mini perm.
Yeah.
So I bought the neutralizer. And I take it out of the box. And it smells like perm. It looks like perm, and I have a PTSD reaction to it. And I was like, no. And then I was like, what am I going to do with my hair? I'm not at the time, especially, I wasn't Miss Pro-Black. I wasn't particularly politically motivated in that way. I wasn't radicalized in that way. I voted for Obama. I believed in open change or whatever. And I was like, I can't walk around, and I'm not like a graceful swan. If you walk around with an afro, there is sort of an expectation that you present extremely feminine,
right? And
that you carry yourself with a certain amount of grace and pride that I just can't do. I'm a bumbling,
you're a goofball,
goofy,
but you are
person.
very beautiful.
Thank you.
You are a very, very beautiful person. Nobody can ever deny that, unless they're the Edward Fisher guy that you mentioned.
That's right.
But no, you're an objectively beautiful person. Come on, you are. A beautiful skin, beautiful bone structure, cute little nose, button nose. The wonderful smile. Here's one thing that I noticed, and I'm maybe this is an anecdotal observation that's coming straight off the dome right now. Is when it comes to Black men's hair, right? You rarely see Black, and now you don't see Jerry curls anymore.
No.
Really, right?
Yeah.
With black men's hair, you very rarely see a black man with a blowout or a fro.
Boom.
Right? And instead, you'll just see very closely cropped hair, period. And for me, that also strikes me now, as you're talking to me about this, as a sort of an erasure or a muting.
It is.
Of the Africanness.
That's because,
and I'm not trying to step on anybody's individual choices. I'm just observing them.
But it is. Really. Your choices aren't made in a vacuum. Okay. Your choices are made in a society that is like filled. It's in the ether. Anti-blackness, white supremacy is in the ether. So you're not just making choices of your own volition and your own free will. Your choices are informed by your environment, and your environment is anti-black.
Right.
If you can accept that racism exists and that it is global, then you have to accept that your choices are made with that in at least some part of your mind. So yes, I do believe that is an indication because, and it is blatantly is. There's a lot of things even still. Steve Harvey was cutting off boys' dreads, right?
I didn't know that.
Yes, he offered boys money to come on his show, and he shaved off their dreads so that they could look professional.
Oh my God,
that's anti-blackness.
That is that. That seems like a very. But he's like the king of respectability politics, right?
He's the goofiest black dude for sure.
Yeah.
Like that he had that. There's many examples of black boys being forced or being compelled to cut their hair, to not wear braids because it's ghetto. It indicates that you're not serious. It indicates that you're dangerous. Yeah. There have been doctors.
Well, I guess the long hair in that sense has a countercultural connotation to it, maybe.
For sure, but I have a feeling if their hair was long and straight, there would be less of that. And it's not like you don't look like a gangster. Now you're too feminine, right? It's a different discrimination, right? Okay. And I think a lot of black men don't want to talk about their own texturism, their own internalized texturism, because they have a choice to not deal with it, right? They can just shave it.
Okay. Here's a question that I have. So we can say, okay, let's say black men rejecting black women who don't have tight curl hair like you do, for instance, right?
Wait, rejecting women who
don't have straight hair, for instance, right?
They reject women who don't have my type.
Yeah, no, who have your type.
There you go. Okay, sorry, I was confused. Yeah.
So you have that. What about the concept that as human beings, the things that we are attracted to oftentimes tend to be oppositional to what we are anyway? I'm just posing this, right? As a thing of like, there is something about opposites attracting in a way. And when you look at white beauty standards, right? Mm-hmm. White women are always trying to get a perm. You know what? Just hear me out. Let me finish. And when you hear about classic white depictions of what it means, tall, dark, and handsome.
Yeah, but they don't mean dark.
Yeah. Maybe not, right? Maybe they actually do though, right? But it's a very repressed kind of thing. Is something that I might conjecture, right? In that, maybe they don't because there is a systemic and a societal attitude about interracial mixing and stuff like that. What about the idea that like, oh, as a black man who has tightly curled hair himself, my impulse is to go for something different because there is something exotic about that, right?
I have heard that from black men.
Okay.
I think there is somewhat of an element of that, but again, that's not made in a vacuum.
I mean, your type is you like studs.
Yes.
You like studs.
Yeah.
As you say it in your Brooklyn ass accent. But your other thing is you love transmask Waldos.
I do.
You know what I mean? They all look like Waldo. A lot of these dudes that you... they, thems, or whatever that you are attracted to. I'm like, this motherfucker looks like Waldo.
Yes, for sure.
Okay, the motherfucker looks like Harry Potter.
For sure. Like, it's in my joke that I like anybody that just dressed like Dennis the Menace. That's my thing. 100%.
So to me, wouldn't that account for something like, oh, I'm into something that's just different? And
for sure, but the difference is not in race, it's not in color, it's not in hair type. The difference is in vibe, right? And I'm attracted to vibe, and there's no shade to people that aren't attracted. And I also do have a thing, but I also like people of somewhat my body type or thicker. You know what I mean? I like big tits. I like big booties. I like big stomachs. I like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So certainly there's some opposites attract, whatever. And there's definitely black men who say like things like, I'm dark, I can't be with a dark-skinned woman. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm dark, I need to be with a light-skinned woman.
Interesting.
My hair is nappy. I got to be with a long-haired, thick red bone. You know what I mean? And sure, I'm sure they believe that it's only because the opposites attract. But the reality is, most people are attracted to people within their own racial makeup, right? Most people are attracted to people who identify with, who have like identity markers reflected in their community that they were raised in, right? Why is it that Black men, and overwhelmingly Black men do date Black women, but also they're the ones that mostly date outside their, like out of all the races, they're the ones that are most likely to date.
Didn't know that, but okay.
Yes. For good reason. They live in a white supremacist culture, and white supremacy, the first thing that it needs to do is denigrate the women of whatever culture that you can't threaten white femininity. And so Black men feed into that, and they seek what they're told is the most desirable. And they might believe that they can separate their own attraction and their own whatever, because they still fuck women with tight curly hair. Right. And I will suppose, even though I may not adhere to those standards of desirability, just like you said, I'm cute as shit.
Yeah.
And maybe I think a lot of people wouldn't be able to admit that to themselves. Like, I think a lot of times I deal with a lot of subliminal attraction, right? They know they're attracted, but they know they're not supposed to be.
Interesting.
Right? I once did a live comedy show during the pandemic, and I was like hosting some live comedy show. And
my dick says yes, but Fox News says no.
Literally, the comment was, "She's hot in a weird way."
Oh.
I was like, you.
Interesting.
I'm hot, but I'm not supposed to be.
Right. Well, there's a great comedic trope with my personal like icons of comedy, the Wayans brothers, who I love.
I love the Wayans.
And throughout several of their movies, the two that are coming to mind is I'm Gonna Get You Sucker and then Don't Be a Menace to South Central.
Yes.
Where all the hardcore Black radical Black nationalists all date super mid, not just white, but like mid white. Like in Don't Be a Menace, she was just like, she was like pretty Hoagly. You know what I mean?
Excuse me, can you tap that white girl for me?
Excuse me, sister, can you? Exactly.
Yes.
And she's holding like a banjo or something.
She's just like doofy looking. He's like my milk of magnesia. And then I'm Gonna Get You Sucker, the white girl. The hotel.
She was like very attractive. But yeah, Bernie Casey was playing the hotel. And she had braids and stuff.
Yes, she had braids. You know? That is a joke because that is a thing that happens.
Right.
That is the most pro-Black militant black man. They always date white women.
Of course.
This is true since the Panthers. Then sometimes assault. What's his name? What's his name?
Dayton.
The guy, the fucking guy he wrote the book, the Black Panther.
Fred Hampton. No, Eldridge Cleaver.
Soul on Ice. Cleaver, yes. Okay. And he was like, I like to rape white women because that's my book. That was like a whole thing. Like it is a phenomenon that happens. And a lot of the men, like, did you see like Tyrese's wife, or ex-wife, Tyrese married this mixed woman with long curly hair and then posted my Black Queen. And everybody was like, where's the Black Queen? Where am I missing it? Is she in the room with us right now?
Wait, why did he call her his Black Queen?
Because she is like a 1/16
Oh
Black.
My God, that's hilarious. That's hilarious. Can we though talk about a true interracial power couple, which I love? This is from the 80s, which in many ways the early 80s was such an amazing freewheeling time in certain ways.
Yeah, for you, because you were there.
No, Dolph Lundgren. I wasn't there for this. This is before my time. Dolph Lundgren, do you know him? He was a big. He played Ivan Drago in Rocky IV.
That girl,
big blonde, 8 feet tall, blonde, short hair.
He dated Brigitte Nielsen.
But for that, you know how he got famous? Because he was in love with Grace Jones.
Everybody was in love with Grace Jones.
I know, but they were like the power couple. Okay. That was like a very interesting couple. Okay. I would say so. Right? They were at like Studio 54 and shit. Okay. I think it was before my time, but they were like together. And Grace Jones is the one who like kind of helped him break in.
Oh, well,
my Jamaican guy, more like my Swedish guy.
Yes, yes. Wait, before we get off into the weeds, let's get into the hair typing chart. Sorry.
Yes.
Let's get into the history of the hair typing chart. But shout out to Grace Jones, Jamaican queen.
Dolph.
And Dolph, sure. The hair typing chart. So now we have the hair typing chart today, right? Which was invented by Andre Walker, who is Oprah's hairstylist.
Oh my God.
Yes, that's how the hair typing chart.
I mean, Oprah I remember watching her as a little kid with my mom, and she had just very white woman Karen haircut. Actually,
That's right. Her hair is blown out always. either blown out or permed or whatever. His hair typing chart did not include like 3C or whatever, but it also kind of was very discriminatory. It was like 4 is bad. Type 4 is bad. Type 4 is when it's no
did
moisture.
He explicitly say type 4 is bad?
Maybe not bad, but it needs help. It needs management. That's also the reigning belief about my hair type, about type 4 hair, is that it is difficult to manage and that it is difficult to deal with, that it constantly needs moisture, and that it is usually easily damaged, right? That's the belief, that the natural hair of this type is very difficult to maintain and manage. I would say that is only true.
Do you think that's like a pseudoscientific thing?
Not a pseudoscientific thing. Okay. I think that is a prevalent belief in the natural hair community, but I think it's only hard. 4C hair is only hard to manage if you want it to do what it doesn't do, right? 4C hair is hard to manage if you want it to look like 3C hair,
right?
And I'm the laziest bitch on the planet. I don't do shit with my hair. I wash it, I deep condition it, I might do an oil treatment or a rinse. I really don't do it as much as I should, but I don't do shit to my hair. I wake up, I put some fucking leave-in in it, and I pull it. And then I show up. Yeah. You know what I mean?
That's basically what I do with my hair.
Yeah, exactly. We should, black people, but I'm going to speak to black women specifically, should have the freedom to do their hair with minimal effort.
So this is very interesting to me, because now that you're talking about, you said that you didn't even know what your own hair looked like.
Yeah, I had no idea.
And I'm realizing now I actually don't have a true conception of what actually black hair is. And so my question is, and I don't know if you know the answer to this either, but like what did, like in Africa, right? What did African hair look like pre-colonization?
That's a fucking amazing question.
Like, so, what did that look like?
Yes, that's a fucking fantastic question. So actually, we don't have perfect records on this, but it used to be that hair styles were specific to your tribe, right? So you had the Fulani tribe that had their braids in a certain way, but it was very rarely do we have records of black people with just wearing a fro, wearing their hair just loose and out, right? Usually, especially if you were higher status, your hair was very much done in very specific ways.
Yeah.
You know, you ever see those like very extravagant braid
Absolutely,
styles?
Yeah.
Yes. So that was usually and hair was extremely important from what we know, the things that we know that weren't destroyed by colonialism. We know that hair was an extremely important signifier of tribe, of family, of status. And the first thing they did when they were capturing people from Africa is they made them shave their hair.
Interesting.
First thing they did, because that was they wanted you to not identify with your culture at all, right? That was the first thing they did, is shave your head before they put you on the boat,
right?
And also, what we know is that a lot of these tribes that were kept safe were mainly I guess that's not really related to hair, but it's somewhat related to some cultural things, like, you know, the lip thing, the lip, big ears sometimes, that stuff was mostly, or there's a theory that was mostly done as a way to protect from being captured. Because they saw you as mutilated.
Interesting.
And so therefore you wouldn't be good to work. Right?
Damage the goods before they can steal them.
So they're saying that the belief is that maybe a lot of those tribes actually originally didn't have that as like a main thing. But it became more popular as a way to protect them from being captured.
Very interesting.
Anyway, sorry, I got off topic.
Hair is such a fascinating thing, because like as an Indian, we don't talk that much about hair. I have pretty wavy and curly hair.
Yeah.
But you know, in India, if you look at like sadhus, I'm talking about renunciates, religious, spiritual renunciates, their hair is almost always dreaded. Or not always, but like very often their hair is dreaded. And when you decide you want to renounce and you want to go live in the forest and meditate or whatever all your whole life,
you cut it.
You don't cut it. No, you mat it, which is dreading it.
Oh, okay. So their hair is just loose, and then they mat it before they.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. But I remember as a kid, like some like holy man came from India, and he was doing the rounds in our small town in PA with the Indian community, and this motherfucker had like literally like an 8-foot dreadlock, almost single dreadlock. It stunk like piss because they renounce. You know what I mean? They're not like whatever.
Yeah,
hygiene,
they're not
all
using Dove.
that. Yeah, exactly. And I was like, oh, that always stuck out in my mind.
That's very interesting because like the Rasta thing is, I wonder if the Rasta tradition of when you become a Rasta and you start dreading your hair, it's usually supposed to be free form dreads, just like that, the matting, the free form locks. I wonder if that is connected to the
Indian thing, right? I've heard that before.
Yeah.
I remember I was working some job as a teenager and I was hanging out with a couple of guys. One of the guys was a Rasta. And he was saying, yeah, that's because there was Indians in Jamaica and that Indians actually brought weed to Jamaica as well.
I knew that.
Yeah.
But I wonder if they brought that tradition of the dread.
Because it's a spiritual thing. It's a renunciatory thing.
Yes.
It's a renunciatory practice.
Yes.
So I always found that fascinating.
Yes. There's another thing we should have gotten into is about freeform locks. Like I'm also in a certain set of privilege because I can alter and I do. You've seen it. I alter my hair. I'll do a twist out or whatever to get like an appearance of a different hair texture, a more uniform, defined hair texture, right? For like a job interview or whatever. But if you have locks, specifically if you have freeform locks, automatically you're not, you know what I mean? A lot of people view freeform locks of all kinds is like dirty inherently.
What is a freeform lock? What as opposed to what other kind of lock?
So there's a freeform the lock normal locks that we usually identify with are ones that are like they're parted in a certain way. Right. They're manipulated to be uniform.
Okay, gotcha.
Or close to be uniform. Right. Freeform locks are usually locks that are just naturally matted.
Okay.
Right.
Gotcha.
It's just how your hair is matted and it continues in that way. Maybe sometimes you'll get them like, of course, you'll clean them and wash them, but you won't manipulate them in any way.
Interesting. Right. They're not shaped.
They're not shaped. Or there's also some shaped. What are the ones? The flat locks.
I like how you look at Connor like he does.
I know. I sure did. Oh my God, girl, it's late. I'm so sorry, boo boo.
It's okay.
I'm so sorry. We're gonna wrap up. I'm so sorry. Yeah. So there's different types of locks that are not. They don't look. They may be uniform, but they're flat and they're big. There was a basketball player who had those locks, and people were like, "He stinks." You could tell he stinks because his hair is matted. And these are Black people saying shit like that.
Right.
Of course. You know what I mean? A lot of this, like, I know white people love my fro. They may be thinking in there, little nigger, but I heard Connor say it under his breath. But he said, I think
don't do Connor
out loud. They're always like, "Wow, your hair is beautiful. Oh my God!" Right? Black people, a lot of the times, are the ones who have the most problem with my hair, right?
Interesting.
I did tell that story of my texturism issue in the office. I wasted on the colorism episode.
No, it's okay. It's
good. I should have talked about it on the texturism.
No, you have 4C violation.
That's right. I had a 4C violation. They said, "Don't come in here," like that. She was Black. Black people are the ones who are unfortunately tasked with policing Blackness and making sure that we uphold standards of white supremacy. And I think, and now let me get back to the wigs and weaves thing. I love you Black women, and I love a 40-inch bust down moment, and I might get a blowout, you know what I mean, in a little bit. But I think we need to be more conscious of the reasons why we do these things. And a lot of times, you know, you hear those like Black misogyny podcasts. They're always like, "You're in your hair hats. You got your fucking weaves and your wigs and da-da-da." And they say it with a lot of hate. And they're doing it to attack Black women's choices. But I don't want to attack. I just think we need to have the conversation that these things are wrapped up in anti-Blackness. And you can say, like, now I'm hearing a lot of like, actually it's anti-Black to hate wigs. It's anti-Black.
Right. It's very interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah, wigs and weaves are Black culture.
Very.
Sure, but so are ham hocks.
Right.
Doesn't mean we need to eat them every day.
Right. Totally.
You know
Totally.
what I mean?
Yeah, it's so fascinating. One of the things I love about doing this podcast with you and like learning about these kinds of things is actually what we are talking about beyond talking about racism is that we're really talking about social mutation.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because how things have become one thing and then it becomes another thing.
Yes.
It reinforces and then objects. And it's a very, very fascinating thing.
Yes. And people aren't conscious about the way things move and change in the world. But yeah, no, I just would encourage, if there are any Black people listening that wear wigs and weaves, look, girl, I loved my wigs and weaves. Okay, we'll see if we can put a picture of me and my Nicki Minaj wig.
Right.
Back in the day, I loved my wigs and weaves, and there's a certain that you feel,
right,
and there's a response that you get. Oh my God, when I had the straight long hair, oh my God, people loved me.
Yeah,
people loved me. People,
right,
you're instantly identifiable as hot. So I understand why you do that, but I just want us to be more conscious of our choices and how we may be reinforcing anti-Blackness and reinforcing the internalized anti-Blackness. Right. If you cannot leave your house with your hair showing exactly what your hair is supposed to do without feeling a certain way, it's time to unpack that.
Interesting.
It's time to think about it and unpack that. And it's time for us to stop denying that texturism is a thing, because it has killed people.
Right.
Like we have records of the deaths.
Yeah.
So let's not act like it's just it's a fake thing, Black people. It's something that we really need to talk about. It's something that we really need to unpack.
Yeah.
White people too, but do that on your own time.
No, for sure. Sure. I think it's super important. I think we should wrap up.
Let's wrap up. Let's do a blame capitalism.
Okay, let's do a real quick one. Ready?
Oh,
yeah, you're gonna take it out. I need to set the timer.
Okay.
Okay, what is it?
I got it. Let's see. No!
What is it?
Big butts. We already did that one.
Okay.
You can't put them back in.
I did, sorry. I didn't know how that got back in there.
Ha!
What is
Heterosexuality.
It? Heterosexuality. You have 1 minute to think. Go. I'm going to sing the song.
Okay. I actually don't need the 1 minute.
Okay.
We kind of did a whole episode about it.
I figured you wouldn't need it, but go ahead.
We did a whole episode.
I like how you threw the heterosexual slip of paper on the ground.
Heterosexuality as a concept is already a capitalist invention. Heterosexuality is a capitalist invention. The idea of like the man and the woman need to be together so that they can reproduce, so that they can make people who contribute to society with their labor. That's really the real thing. And that there needs to be one subjugated, you may not say that's inherent to heterosexuality.
Does that mean being gay is like going on strike?
Yes.
Like a worker strike?
Yes, it is. I'm sorry, it is. Being gay is sort of like being on strike.
That was my idea.
Being gay or just like choosing community over the nuclear family, that is anti-capitalist. Heterosexuality in and of itself is a concept created specifically to make the labor market something, and to and if everything is individuated around this two-parent household structure, then you don't reach out to the community. It's a good way to inure against mutual aid and all that stuff, and it's a great way to subjugate women and subjugate men as well. Forcing them to do most of the physical manual labor outside of the home.
Damn. Wow, you ate that, as you would say. You ate that. That was masterful. Guys, parting words. Hannah Gadsby, shut the fuck up. There's no hope in dope.
There's no hope in dope.
Yeah, you Sackler peddling fucking idiots.
Now, like, let's be actually queer with our politics.
Yeah. They are a menace.
Yes. They're not a menace, but you know, they're capitalists. Check us out on everything. Leave us reviews, give us 5 stars, please. We love it.
Love you guys.
Subscribe on YouTube and fucking stay
SemiWoke. Stay SemiWoke, y'all. Love you. Peace.
Bye.